Alright, guys, we're gonna do something different today. No fancy words, just real talk. You know, this is your boy Chris, K to the R, to the I, to the what, to the mother effing S, aka Your Majesty, aka Your Majesty Chris. Who gives a shit? I don't, because at the end of the day, I am the Majesty, okay? The YMK. Okay? Yes, my loves. Please to remember to follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook if you are watching me for the first time. Okay? For the first time. Because I'm sure this video will reach other people that hasn't followed me in the past. Alright, guys, so I thought about this very carefully. And I thought that, you know what, let me talk about politics. A lot of people like politics and they don't. It's confusing, it's repetitive. And most of the time, it feels like we, the citizens of, the countries don't have a say. But, trust me, everything that politicians do at the top kind of affects us down here at the bottom as far as me concerned. I want to talk about what's going on in the UK here for a minute. Over the many years before Brexit happened, we are talking about get Brexit done. The whole country got divided. Friendships ended. Families fell out. People voted not once, not twice to leave the EU. And here we are talking about going back. I can't bother. Talking about going back. We make our own rules, and we thought that we'd be stronger and richer and more freer, excluding ourselves from the EU. But now the Prime Minister is quietly, and he has actually opened back the portal suddenly, to go back to the EU in some respects. Now, me just have to say to myself, hold on, wait a minute. Wasn't it the British people that voted to leave the EU? So how come we don't have a say now in terms of the renegotiations and what's going to happen? How come we're being dragged back into the EU as it is? It's like giving backdoor politics. For me, really, it's like, going back through the back door. You understand what I'm saying? It's like politicians are just free to do what they want to do, and it's just ridiculous. It's just really ridiculous. I can't bother. I mean, do they really care about us and what we think? I mean, okay, we did, a lot of us really did decide to stay. Like me, I voted to stay, but now that we left, now we're thinking about going back. Boy, I don't know. It seems like politics in the UK and the US is just going right now. Because even for Donald Trump, he has been impeached. He's been indicted. He's been dragged all over the media. And yet still Donald Trump is out here making moves like there's no tomorrow. Doing rallies, raising millions. And him actually made a comeback by being the president of the United States of America. I can't bother. But here's the kicker. Elon Musk now, who is or was his biggest cheerleader, is the same man who invested millions to aid Donald Trump's campaign and push the influence through his social media platforms. And now they're at each other's throats. Me look on all of this and me say the back and forth pettiness, it's a full-blown digital war, egotistical war. You understand where I come from, people? It just doesn't make sense. Elon Musk out there is saying that Trump should be impeached because of the situation with Epstein and all them something there. And like, boy, I don't know. It's like Elon now want to cancel Trump. But I don't know, my love. It's just ridiculous. It is so messy. And this is exactly what happens when billionaires start to act like politicians you know, and then they become politicians, and then now they're acting like reality stars. I don't get it. You know, these arguments between rich men who probably never had to worry about the price of milk. And all of this is affecting the world in a 2025. Even here in Britain, it is affecting us over here. And look how the two grown men them act. Because ever since Trump went into office, there's been a shift in global tone, global pattern, especially around immigration, taxation, and every kind of relation you can think about. We saw it. You understand me? The UK became a country that is harder to migrate to. Policies around asylum, borders, even student visas, all of that start to shift already, people. Tax systems are favoring the bigger business people them right now. All of we regular folks, we're stuck with austerity. Rising costs with less support. Well, I don't know, my love. I don't know. It's, you know, you see when them powerful people, you know, start to move them way, you know, you have to really wonder, you know, what kind of sacrifice we'll make. We voted, we put these people into power, and here they are now, you know, are going with themselves. And this is why I always say, you know, you see, the rich will always get richer and the poor will get poorer. And the system, truth be told, the system is not broken. I saw it did make, that is how it was, and that is how it's always been. It's just that, you know, a lot of headlines and a lot of things out there distract us from seeing it sometimes. You see, this war with Elon and Trump now, that's total distraction. That's how I see it. You know, they come out here, they confuse us with pettiness, long speeches sometimes. Them not worry about bills. Them people don't worry about bills. Them don't worry about the you know, them a cash big checks and I fly privately. You understand me? So for me, me personally, I don't really trust politicians like that. I really don't. Because they tell you what they want you to hear. And when they win the vote, that is it, my love. That is just it. I'm not saying for other people, you know, not to have a favorite party and whatever. And I'm not saying for you people to don't vote ever. All I'm saying is open up your eyes, understand what is going on, and watch. You understand me? Because while those politicians and those rich people are building empires, they are worried about their own pockets, trying to stay afloat. Because waiting on an MP to fix something or to even write you a letter is like waiting for your landlord to come fix the roof. And that is not going to happen for now. You better do that shit yourself. Or to fix a crack in the wall that you feel later on might be detrimental to you and your family. You know, it is, you know, back in the days when I was growing up, back in the 80s and the 90s, you know, maybe I was too young to understand politics as it is. I don't know. Maybe I was too young to understand politics. And maybe I didn't know much. Maybe because I'm an adult now, you know, I understand the full logistics and the fullness of politics because I am now the citizen of another country and not my, you know, and not my birth country, right? And I'm getting to understand things slightly different, you know. But here I am now understanding it, and I'm wondering, did this used to happen back in the days? I don't get it. Did this used to happen back in the days? You know, back when I was a teenager? Was it like that? No, I don't know. Because back in Jamaica, where I'm from, you had the Jamaica Labour Party. You have the People's National Party. And there was another one. I can't remember the third, the third one. We have so many parties down there. And It's always about the seriousness of the country, pushing the country forward. I've never seen people banter like this, especially in, the White House. Like, it's like politics has gone to shambles. It has gone to utter shambles. It's like kindergarten here. And for me, okay, I'm Jamaican, but I'm naturalized as a British citizen. And some people may feel like I don't have any talk or have any say. But for me, I'm just here looking over the pond and I'm like, what the fudge is going on up in that White House? Like, what's really, really going on inside of that place? Like, the pettiness, the back and forth, the tweets, the this, the that. The only thing left for Elon Musk to do now is to block Donald Trump's accounts and get him off his platform. That's the only thing left for him to do. What is going on with America? Like, it's in shambles. Like, isn't there something where we can initiate? Not we, not me, but isn't there something like some evasive maneuvers or something like invoke Article 631 or 777 or XYZ and just get these comedians out of power? Because I don't get it. I just don't friggin' get it. I don't get it. It's like a shit show. It's like it's a parody of some sort. Like it's like oh my days. It's like a parody. Like, and these are the people that are running the greatest nations on the earth. I don't know. I really can't say too much, because I don't want to get myself into trouble. But, as an individual, as a British citizen, I'm just here looking across the pond and I'm like, wow. Wow. I never thought that it would have gotten to something like this. Never ever thought. And as for us over here in the EU, we voted. We voted to leave the EU. I voted to remain in the EU. Because one of the things that has affected me personally with Brexit is the fact that whenever I travel to any European country, there's a slight tone that I get. I don't know if it's because I'm black. I don't think so. Because there's black people everywhere these days. There's a tone. You go through the borders of, the French borders, I mean, we have a French border here before you get over there. And we have a UK border over there before they get over here. And sometimes when you're going through, that's peaceful. That's okay because we and the French are like ring on finger. But when you go to other places, like recently I went to Hungary, Budapest, and the treatment was not so wonderful. I was in Copenhagen last year, in Denmark, and the treatment was not so wonderful either, and I'm like, so I've felt the tension, from us leaving the EU. And I was more focused on my own products coming from Poland because a lot of my baking products come from Poland, you see. So I was more focused that the prices may spike up, can't be able to afford products, because all these taxes are going to come in and whatever. But, it has proven to be something that wasn't too bad. But now we're talking about having the French fishing in our waters, having the, you know, students being able to go abroad to study or maybe come here to study. And all sorts of other things. Like, Brexit had affected me as a businessman. It did. A lot. Once upon a time I had a lot of European employees. The Italians, the Romanians, the Spanish. I had that. And, those people could have come here and worked, for what I can pay them. These days it's like, they say, oh, let's keep all the jobs in Britain. British people don't want to work. Come on. They don't want work. They want to stay on benefits. That is what they want to do. They want to stay on benefits. They want to cash in. They want to, and stuff, because this is just how it is, and that's that. And this is exactly, why we Brexited, because British people are complaining, oh, there's no jobs, the foreigners come here and they took all the jobs, da 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 da. And those same fuckers, they don't want to work. They don't want to work. And if they want to work, they want to work on their own terms. They want to have their own hours. They want to use their phone while working, or they're leaving. They have their own terms. Very recently, I still have adverts up, to get the right person into work. And everybody wants flexi hours, part-time hours, hours to suit them. Nobody wants full-time work anymore. And, Brexit wasn't the only contribution to that fact. The pandemic was another, big contributor to that fact. So, what can I say? I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I would just not denounce my citizenship, but because I believe I worked hard for my citizenship. I feel like, I would just, I don't know, like maybe one day retire somewhere in the Caribbean. Like retire in the Caribbean, just, and don't have to worry about politics, go into the jungle to live, go into the countryside to live, and all that, and whatever. And that is what I feel like, I could possibly do, but I don't know. I just don't know. Yeah. I don't know. This politics thing, this is why I will forever call it politricks instead of politics, because these people, they trick us. I am yet to see a country that, that is really, really for the people, that is really and truly for the people. There's a lot of people out here that they're all for themselves, and politicians alike too. They're all for themselves. So let me shut up now before I get myself into trouble and stuff here. So I felt the need to just, say that. I felt the need to just say that in its, to speak about this, because it's a topic that I don't really speak into. It's very funny that I made bullet points to really dive into the topic, but then on, because of reasonable, decisions, and thinking quickly, I decided not to, and stuff. Sometimes it's best to just speak from your heart, because at the end of the day, it is what it is. You know, as a blogger, you see things from your own point of view, and a lot of people may not agree with the stuff that you say. But at the end of the day, you have a voice, and you said what you needed to say. You know, I'm really heartbroken for what is going on in the White House right now, and Elon and you know, Donald Trump. But you see, this is what happens when you have businessmen going into politics. You know, and that's my take on the situation. I don't know much about politics, but you know, if you're a businessman, be a businessman. You know, and as far as I'm concerned, you know, anybody can, you know, run for presidency. Once I think you're born American and you're of a certain, you know, and you carry a certain weight to you, and you can get the funds to help your political campaign, then you're almost good to go. You're almost good to go. But sometimes I wish that some of these politicians would really act like politicians and not school kids, or like they're in high school, you know, in a sorority of some sort. Because to me, it just looks bad. It looks terrible. You know, it's like you're looking at everything that you're saying, I can't believe these are the people that's running our country. You know? But there you have it. You know, the people voted, and that's what they voted. That's exactly what they voted for. That is exactly what they voted for. So what you vote for is what you get. You know, a lot of people saw this coming, but you know, for me, I was always of this notion that wait for it. I didn't know how it was gonna come, but I'm like, wait for it. Wait for it. And I guess this is it. But you know what? I think that Elon Musk has, I think he has the bigger secret out there. And if Trump pushes his buttons hard enough, that man will start to sing like a canary. But I also think that if that happens, then I think maybe both of them have secrets for each other, and they're just playing tit for tat for now. Yeah, that's what I think. That's exactly what I think. You know, like, yeah, that's exactly what I think. Anyway, guys, it was fun chatting and stuff. Have yourselves a great day. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.